What's up, motherfuckers? This is post Raw after Hell in a Cell. Now, this is going to be lately uploaded. Sadly enough, we had a bit of an opening segment. The come over the show, we had no intro, no song, no pyro. We had immediately Rusev getting assaulted somehow, some way by Baron Corbin and Randy Orton. There wasn't even like a pre-show before this, like they do the all that shit. It literally opened off the show, and I don't know if I came late, because I think I saw the intro, then immediately as soon as they started airing Monday Night Raw, it wasn't a backstage segment. It was Baron Corbin and literally Randy Orton just beating the shit out of Rusev. Then it came out doing a little vignette of Lana and Bobby Lashley with a gay ass necklace, trying to get close to each other so that they can piss off Rusev. And I think this has something to do with the Maria scandal, even though Maria obviously said that Rusev isn't the actual father. And we don't even go further into that later in the show. Then had Rusev snapping because, of course, you have Lashley and Lana literally together on a bed when we literally don't know what's going to happen. Then maybe we know they're fucking. Even though this bitch literally made out with his wife literally just last week on Raw. And Rusev just stood there the entire time until Bray Wyatt came and just finished the awkward segment after an over a minute kiss involving some big ass 6 foot tall nigga with big ass muscles making out with this fake Russian bitch. And then Rusev doesn't snap until they actually hit the sheets. So that makes no damn sense. Then we had a last women's standing match. And I have to say, this match was alright, the promo was all good, but why didn't they just have this in Hell in a Cell to conclude a match? Obviously, when the draft is coming out and they're trying to tie in loose ends, because if you don't know, because this is going to be uploaded late, Lacey Evans is on SmackDown when Natalya stays on Raw. So either way, these women are going to be doing completely different things. And they had, of course, the kendo sticks, a few finishing moves, a moonsault that looked super staged, and Lacey Evans is so tall and girthy with a short-ass wrestler like Natalya that looked super awkward. Then Lacey Evans chucked Natalya through the wrestling stage, where she literally looked like she slided off like a fucking skateboard ramp. I don't know where the idea for that entire wrestling stage comes from, but at least it looks unique, and it looks like you can use it for the show. So I guess that's a step up from the previous stage we've been using for the last 3 years. And then it ended off with Lacey Evans failing to throw Natalya at the stage. Then Natalya comes off, do a powerbomb and tosses her out the stage where Lacey Evans comes off of the 10 count. It was funny when she was coming out, opening the promo off with a trash can. So it gets a C- for me. But this had a decent finish for a match in a feud that pretty much was irrelevant. So, yeah. That's how I felt mostly about the feud and how I felt mainly about Natalya and Lacey Evans' growth in the main roster, even though she hasn't counted as much going into the show. And then we have the Viking Raiders face off against the Raw Tag Team Champions, and the Viking Raiders pin them clean. I'm being serious. It was a good, decent affair. They fluently came into the ring, hot tags came right into the motion. Ziggler came and ate almost every part of the Viking Raiders to make them feel like legit, dominant savages. But here's the thing. Bobby Roode and Lacey Evans. Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler are already like independent wrestlers, and they come around thinking that they have complete dom. I saw like a good reversal of super kick to make sure the Viking Raiders don't hit off their finisher. A big knee right into the face, right into the face of Ziggler. That one of the bald dudes, Ivor did a tope suicida. Then a big ass armbar that looked like a lot because Bobby Roode actually has experience in the ring. It actually looks like he knows what he's doing. Thinks he actually had good wrestling matches and actually has a good portfolio because he actually knows some of the wrestlers from Impact. Other than I had this little 4.5 star match with Ospreay that you guys remember from WCPW back in Australia. So no. And they won this match using their little Viking experience so they can get the win on Ziggler and Roode for a future tag team title match come this tonight. So, yeah. It was a decent sized match. I don't think this should have lasted 2 commercials. So, yeah. Excuse the music going on outside. Then we had the Singh Brothers, Samal and Samir Singh, face off against Aleister Black. Everybody was super popped when they saw Aleister Black actually show up, have a promo, and try to go into the ring saying, "I'm waiting for anybody that wants to pick a fight with me." And as much as he's incredible, a tremendous wrestler, and if he's with the right people, he should be the most captivating guy on the roster. He should be a superstar by now. But how WWE's booked and how they don't let guys actually intervene and like bring stuff from like the past to the present of the main roster and actually make coherent storylines and make these guys actually feel like they're interesting dudes. Like a guy like Aleister Black should accomplish more in the last several months than Ricochet is. And I understand they're trying to put more on Ricochet because he's more athletically gifted. Even though uh, Aleister Black, I feel like, is a way better seller, he's more convincing on his hits. And we saw in the squash match and a handicap match that he can do a lot more. And the Singh Brothers is doing this like they were going to get drafted. We know they might because the tag division is kind of shit. And the Singh Brothers are technically a tag team. And it ended off this big ass black mash and then tapping out of a new submission. Aleister Black used with a sort of armbar. This was just a random squash match. Then we had a 6-man tag match. And this is the second one in 1 week that the OC do. But this time they beat the Lucha House Party. Like they even count. Like the most biggest thing Lucha House Party even done is face off against Lars Sullivan for like 2 months, and then Lars gets injured again, gets up another physical problem, but this time it's not mentally restrained. And then the OC win, and then they use some Styles class from the second turnbuckle and beat the shit. It was decent. Kalisto's good. Grand Metalik did some moves, and then they did that triple moonsault, and then it really didn't count for much. Thanks, you were literally facing off against heavyweights the entire match. So you know that this is obviously supposed to be just a squash match for the OC to get some momentum so they can just lose to the New Day the same week. So the point of this is just we need Styles to be on TV, and we need to give him a faction. Fucking let him join the Forgotten Sons or something. Let him do something else because I hate the OC. And Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows are good, amazing guys in the Indies. They're terrible on the main roster. Bring him back to bring him to NXT or something because they're obviously not it. And then it was hyped around that there would be an interview involving the Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch, both women's champions of their respective brands, bringing up what's been going around their history and it was a nice little thing that look at the belt that you made famous. Look at the belt that I made famous. Yeah, Becky, look at the belt that you've held for at least under a month after beating both Ronda and Charlotte at the same ring. So how did you make that famous exactly? You made the women's division famous, or you made these women's titles famous, but I don't see you making the SmackDown one completely famous. I feel like Becky Lynch has overused her worth here in the main roster. And over beating both Sasha Banks and Bayley, and leaving with women's championships, and I don't know why. Over this thing, they want to always want to force this 4 horsewomen in the front. Every part of these women have won the tag team, these women's belts. 2 of them already won the tag team titles. So I don't see the point of this even playing a factor. Like these women are that groundbreaking when they're barely even household names. So the point of this even being brought up for an interview was fine, other than the little back and forth Sasha and Becky and Charlotte were having. This didn't do anything except break out the Kairi Sane and Asuka coming in to intervene with them just spouting out Japanese with no other translation. And what happened to Paige, that was supposed to be their manager, that can't translate the Japanese? Oh, I forgot. Why in the fuck can you make Tajiri their fucking manager? Last time we saw him, he was in the Cruiserweight Classic. I'm shocked that a dude like that obviously must have picked up at least some Japanese after associating with the WWE for nearly over a decade. The dude obviously might be involved in WWE in their training or something else. Just make sure it makes sense and make sure that Asuka and Kairi Sane just don't hold the belts like the Iconics held the belts. Like they win a bit on the show. They maybe win a bit on the show thanks Kairi Sane and Asuka are actually good wrestlers and they use some bullshit. They barely get shown up any other week on Raw and SmackDown. Then they show up for the particular lose to the certain tag team they're going to be feuding with, and then they have a blow off on the kickoff show or the main pay per view. Then we had them into an impromptu tag team match involving a champions versus champions match that was also endorsed. So it was the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions involving the Boogie Warriors facing off against the SmackDown Women's Champion, that is Charlotte, and the Raw Women's Champion, that's Becky Lynch. This was an alright match. It ended off with Asuka utilizing the Green Mist like she did against Alexa. I think it was on Alexa Bliss to win the women's tag team titles. A reversal, use of the natural selection. I used to get 3 counts, but it's near falls. Like, I don't even know if there's a mid card and a main event league for the women's division, seeing how inconsistent it's been. But it ended off Green Mist. Then Sane came up with a roll up right on Becky Lynch. Off a surprise Green Mist attack by Asuka, and Kairi Sane came with a surprise roll up. After Sane was hit with the disarmer. This was a match. No one cared except Asuka and Sane would come in to try to beat the shit out of the women's champions until Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss came and helped out the women's tag with the women's champions. This was an alright match. I didn't mind it. The finish was so played out, and we know that these guys won't be showing up again, thanks to the draft. Next up, we had Apollo Crews face off against Ricochet in a babyface versus babyface match. For no particular reason, this wasn't going to help their draft stock because we know Apollo Crews is super irrelevant, and he loses to any other match. This was a really good match. These guys are incredibly athletically gifted. Roll downs, good reversals. It looks like these guys were both respecting each other. Bloody, blah. No one cared. It had no storytelling. It wasn't even a character shift. It wasn't even a heel turn off Apollo Crews off the last few years of Apollo Crews being the main roster, and he nearly loses every match. And then he just comes out losing to Ricochet off the recoil. And it was a really good fast-paced match, and fucking Apollo Crews like, oh, it's nothing personal, it's just business. And we think, oh, great, this might be a good character shift. Fucking Crews loses. In a match that made zero sense. And this is supposed to be dubbed the draft showcase when there was only 2 matches. And we know most of the people that are going to be ranked top 5 or at least top in the draft or guys that were formerly champions or at least main event level. That obviously Ricochet and Apollo Crews aren't. So the point of this showcase match was just, we have mid-carders, we just don't have a lot of these niggas. So we need to make a brand split instead of making factions and actual storytelling that makes sense. Oh, the show has some problems. And then we had Tyson Fury and Braun Strowman giving out that he should have apologized and Tyson Fury came up earlier in the show bringing up that I am getting a public apology after what happened last week on the premiere episode of SmackDown after Braun Strowman tossed Dolph Ziggler on Tyson Fury. Then Tyson Fury comes down, Braun Strowman came in to get these hands, shove off the little fake-ass punches, and somehow Tyson Fury's punches are so devastating that it punches one guy and the guy lands on the other, and they don't even get up. Braun Strowman, that can literally chuck an ambulance, can barely even handle some regular heavyweight boxer dude. How the fuck? And this is supposed to be endorsed with Crown Jewel involving Cain Velasquez versus Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship. This is more prestigious than Kofi Kingston facing off against fucking Randy Orton or Daniel Bryan. Because it was Kofi Kingston holding the WWE title. That's like something you made a mistake of in Universe Mode when you accidentally skipped more than a month. This was technically the entire bash because security guards come out, referees come out, the wrestlers come out, and feel like, oh, this was such a big brawl, and it's coming to kick these hands. And then fucking Charlie Caruso came and be like, oh, you want to get more of this bullshit, Braun? You're gonna get these hands, nigga. Yeah. And then fucking, what? What was this entire show? We didn't even get a recap. We had a bit of a recap involving what happened back at Hell in a Cell, and they also did the same thing on SmackDown. Like, bitch, we know. We don't want to remember what happened in Hell in a Cell. Do you think I want to care about a DQ finish? Oh, what the fuck were the women's doing using kendo sticks, battering each other everywhere, steel chair, using numerous amounts of steel chairs, trying to cripple each other with steel chairs. Fucking exploder suplex using a steel chair. Beating the ever-living shit out of each other. And you're telling me because Seth Rollins hit a man with a blunt object while he's wearing a protective face mask gets a DQ finish in a Hell in a Cell, and that's supposed to make Seth Rollins feels like he's in desperation mode? Are you serious? And then we end off the fact that something was cool because we saw boxers interact with wrestlers before. This isn't the first time we saw. If you're like an old head that's been watching this for at least over 2 decades, you saw Steve Austin fuck around with Mike Tyson, but that was like storyline thing. That wasn't a real wrestling match. Then we had Butterbean face off against Bart Gunn. Then we had at least it ended up with a cool knockout. Because, Bart Gunn got knocked out by Butterbean. Fucking Mike Tyson knocked out Shawn Michaels. And Floyd Mayweather knocked out Big Show back at WrestleMania 24. Those were cool moments. And then you got a cool guy like Tyson Fury. And they handled up some shots involving him with Deontay West. That's another heavyweight boxer. That's scary as shit. Look him up. This guy can literally kill you if you even have like a lick of a mistake in a boxing match. It even says he can legally kill you. Look it up. He actually said he can legally kill you. And fucking in some embarrassment like this, Raw gets a 4 out of 5. And 4 out of 10. Both shows weren't good. We had very little storytelling. A draft showcase that made 0 sense suddenly had 3 matches. When they barely had draft showcases for a majority of the year when they just addressed it like earlier in the fall. And then no other like update on your world champion. Like, oh, I'm suffering from the injuries. And of course, after Bray Wyatt like nearly brushed his throat, you didn't even go on. Oh, Seth Rollins' condition after the hellacious Hell in a Cell match. Build up after your matches. Make everything relevant. Try to do no one has to bring this up to you. You guys have hundreds of dudes writing your shit, and you still can't make a coherent storyline. And it's not like, oh, you're a smart. You're always trying to. It makes fucking sense. Or nobody will be complaining about this and doing this for like 24/7 for reviews, podcasts. No one will be talking shit about your show. People will be buying your merchandise, and you niggas don't have to get $4.5 billion for just SmackDown on Fox, and then make a football league again after you lost like 64 something million or 100 million, I think. Oh shit, your show sucks. Wow. This is the ST show. Join the show. Come subscribe, comment, like, share, and do all that crazy stuff because this show was a joke. I'm going to either review Dynamite, NXT, or Power that are recently airing. NXT already has 2 episodes and I only reviewed 1. I'm gonna update you guys before Wednesday on the recent episode of Dynamite. Then go over to NXT that I'm maybe gonna upload tomorrow, and then NWA Power that maybe be uploaded like Wednesday. That's all the stuff I'm gonna give you involving wrestling. And Rob won't start until another hour. So suck a dick. God, you people are retarded. This show is a joke. Fuck off. Jesus Christ. Thank you for watching the review. Join DST show.